podium since it's all you. I will, I'm going to, but you're starting it, so. Are we ready to go? All right, Board of Aldermen work session's called to order. Chuck's gonna give us a lot of updates tonight, so. Chuck, the green light's not on in here.
All right, so we have a lot of projects going on this summer, so I just want to give the board a quick update on several of the projects. Okay. Oh, nope, 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 nope. Oh, there, oh. Now it's way too far. How do you get to?
You have the keyboard.
It's over. We're done. That's the last one. Slideshow. Hey, I'll let Linda do this.
What's that?
Why did it just zip? Just press it? Okay. Nope. There it goes. Okay. All right, starting out with our river crossing, we entered into an agreement with HDR to design this. Basically, our master plan calls out for a continuous 12-inch water main that's going to go from the water plant all the way up to the north water tower. It's doing this to equalize the pressure between the north and south systems. The river crossing is the first phase, maybe the second phase, because we already have the 12-inch line on Main Street. But it's going to basically tie into the 12-inch main that we laid on Main Street when the streetscape project was done. It'll head north, go around the housing authority and tie back in on 3rd Street. That's that blue line that you see there. And then we're also going to do some additional distribution stuff on the red lines on those additional streets. The project's under design right now. On your agenda this evening is a change order with HDR for an additional $11,000 for surveying services. Yes.
Just a quick question, Chuck. Is that going to have any impact on the development or any future development right in that area right there?
You mean on the vacant lot?
Yes.
Well, it'll give them water.
Well, that's a good.
So water will be
good thing,
available. Obviously, they'll have to, if that plan goes to develop, they'll have to lay it out so they don't, probably be a right of way or a road or something. But that is where we've got some, I think, Jack, don't we have a right of way there? Yeah, so we're trying to follow that. So, but they'll be available for water for those lots. So the additional surveying services, the initial alignment was going to go right through the housing authority property. And when we looked at that, instead of tearing up their parking and their driveways and stuff like that, we thought it would be better just to go around. It'll be cheaper for construction, and we won't have to disrupt the housing authority at all. So that's the additional $11,000 on later tonight. Aerobic digester improvements and the floating aerator. The pictures here are showing you the new catwalk up in the left-hand corner. I guess it's the right-hand corner, is the digester that was cleaned and some new electrical here. The project is under construction. David E. Ross is a contractor. Not unlike any of our other projects, equipment, materials, supplies, motors, VFDs, all that stuff is just taking time. We thought we would be done in December. We're looking at April now of 23. Projects includes some sludge pump, catwalk, new electrical, variable speed pumps, drivers, headworks, and floating aerator. But there's some parts that are on back order. So we do expect them to come in, and we do expect it to get done by April. 144th Street Pump Station. We've been doing a lot of work on this. That is basically the pump station is going to start on 144th Street, way down here. And we're going to pump wastewater all the way up to the wastewater treatment plant. The reason for this is we'll be able to take off the Hill of Shannon pump station, convert that to gravity, which will drain down here. There's several other pump stations, McDonald's pump station, Platte Valley Bank pump station is what we call it. We'll be able to, in the future, gravity into this line, development, Fairview Crossing. We'll be able to use this lift station in the capacity, and it will have capacity for Forest Oaks. So if at some time we ever get the line from Forest Oaks up to 144th Street, it will dump into this pump station. We are currently working on getting the easements. We've gotten all of them but 3. And coming up in the next few weeks, the board will probably have some action to begin the eminent domain process. Because we're really not coming to terms with 3 property owners. But we've got probably 10 we got 10 other ones, so that we've come to an agreement with. One is ag, one's commercial, and one's residential. So we're across the gamut.
Chuck, on the Forest Oaks piece,
Yes,
you talked about that we'll have water now to Forest Oaks, which is great, but does that include, I know that we talked about the expansion of Forest Oaks a while back, which is going to be probably, I know the mayor said it's probably not going to happen anytime soon, but will that capacity be there for those additional?
yeah, that'll be for the whole, anything that develops south of 144th Street, there'll be capacity in that pump station to pick that up.
Okay, thank you.
And that project's part of the WARDA legislation that we're waiting on DC to decide on, so
Yes,
it could happen sooner than we expected.
yeah, when I first got here, they were working on the 144th Street pump station and Forest Oaks line. And we found out that we needed to have this west bypass line on first before we put that online. So the line to Forest Oaks is not included at this time, but it's nearly ready bid as far as design goes. And we still need some easements for that project if it were to move forward and get funded. So one thing I forgot on the staff report was our Owens Branch sanitary sewer interceptor. Basically, it's that blue line. We currently have an existing force main, which is shown in the red. The line's going to go from the wastewater treatment plant all the way up to KK. And that will basically relieve or take away the need for that force main, and it'll be a gravity sewer, about 2,800 feet of 30-inch gravity line. Like I said, it's from the wastewater plant up to KK. And on your agenda this evening is the agreement with HDR to start designing that. Our favorite 2 projects, the raw water pump station and Smith's Fork pump station. So the raw water pump station where we're at is we've got everything, all the parts are here. And we even have the generator that we don't have one yet for the sewer pump station. We've still got to do the valve vault up by the dam. Right now, the Corps got a project and they're finishing it up. And they were doing some under drain work, and their contractor had their lay down yard and spoils all in the area where we were going to put our valve vault. And when it's got to be about December, we all sat there and said, it's not going to be good for concrete. It's not going to be good to turn the water off and switch it over to do the changeover. Not going to be good for painting. We need to hold off. So we made the conscious decision to hold this off until about starting in March. We knew the Corps would be done with their project. And then we could get started again. So we've got the valve vault. It's going to take about 6 to 8 weeks to get that done. Get all the concrete work done, get the painting of the pipes and stuff that are going in there, and then do the tie-in. So we're looking probably mid-April to have that up and running. On the Smith's Fork pump station, it's done. It is running. However, there's always a however. It's not running like we think it should. The pipe isn't quite full at the discharge end, which indicates there's some kind of blockage or collapse or something in the piping. So we're talking to HDR about the solutions for that. It may be that we need to run a new force main from there all the way over to, I want to say 4th Street, but I may be wrong. Anyway, so we'll be talking to them about that, and we'll probably bring that back to you in the next couple agendas, let you know what's going on there. But the pump station's working, the pumps are working. Everything seems to be okay there, but we're not getting the flow we think we should through the pipe, so. Streetscape, you've all seen this before. This is just a schematic, but basically it's on Bridge Street from Church Street to First Street. We're gonna have new sidewalks, curbs, mill and overlay. We're gonna have bike sharrows. We're gonna have the lighting. We're gonna have new railing on the bridge. We'll have a little seating area on the south side of the bridge, on the west side. And we'll have our little plaque that will kind of show the drainage basin of the Little Platte River, just as an educational piece. This project is partially being funded by Mark, about 50-50. We're looking at bidding it in May 5th, with MoDOT's gonna bid it at that May 5th bid letting. And then we'll get started. We're working right now with the properties to go ahead and get the easements we need. We just need temporary easements. It's just so we can tie back, sidewalks to their homes and driveways and reseed properly, just make sure the grades are set right. So that's gonna, well, like I said, that'll bid in May. And then a slew of other projects. So Winter and Woods, I know we have a couple board members that probably are wondering when that mess is gonna get cleaned up. They are done with the water line and the service line, so everybody's got water and everything. The neighborhood's been great to work with because they've had to put up with a lot. They just need a little bit warmer weather. They couldn't pour the concrete Monday or Tuesday because the frost was not deep. It was too close to the surface, and we don't want to pour on frozen subgrade. So we held them off. We hope they're gonna get here tomorrow and start working on that. So we're just gonna pour concrete up to the top. And then this summer, we're part of the MARC program that they're doing. They got $8 million. They spread it across all their member cities. We're getting like 53,000, and we're gonna overlay all of Winter and Wood Street. So we'll clean all that up from the water line and the sewer lines that we've just replaced, but we're waiting for that to be done. So Fourth and Fourth Terrace, water storm, street improvements. We actually have all the easements now, and we put it out for bid. So it's gonna bid on the 28th. We'll bring that back for recommendation, hopefully the first meeting in March. That'll be a pretty big project. There's a lot of access issues up there because they're dead end streets and they're very narrow. So I think the neighbors are looking forward to the improvements because they all jumped on board with getting us the easements we needed so we can make that work for them. Quincy, same type of improvements. We're including a sidewalk on that one. We've got like 55 easements that we need to get. So we're probably late spring on that one, but again, it's the water line. Storm sewer, street and sidewalk. The CIPP program is your cured in place pipe program. That's our slip line program. That's the plastic or fiberglass liner that we put inside the sewer mains. We're gonna do Quincy Avenue. That is currently out to bid. It'll bid on the 28th, and we'll bring that back to everybody as well here at the first meeting in March. Our sidewalk maintenance program. If you drive up Liberty Road, you'll see white, and I think they used another color today, indicating which slabs need to be fixed or replaced, or and the different colors designate the difference between what the city's paying for and what property owner and the city are sharing the cost on. It's 50-50. We're basically on Liberty from Meadow, well, from actually Main all the way up to the end. The Liberty Street. Liberty and Liberty, I think it is, yeah. Yeah. So we've got a lot to do there. Water plant improvements, we're still determining the scope, but we'll do filter rehab, valve replacements, and additional. We've got $1 million in the budget to do some major maintenance items down there. In our street maintenance program, we're gonna do Spellman. We're bidding that in the spring. And we'll have that constructed in the summer. So I just got a couple other things to mention. Back in July, we mentioned to the board that we needed 107 meter setters. The developers were screaming because we didn't have any, and things are hard to get. Well, we got the meter setters like a week ago, but we also got the bill. So at your next board meeting, we're going to have authorization to go ahead and pay that bill. It's over 25,000. And I saw debt or no, Melissa here, and I know she's interested in stormwater, and we will have our initial stormwater master plan findings coming to you on the 21st. So that'll be a study or work session with GBA. They've got basically their findings. We've had public meetings, we've had our internet presence, our stormwater page where we could take input. We interviewed all of our staff, so we, and they looked at all the issues that came up, and they've got some suggestions for us, so they'll present that at the next board meeting. And if there's any other questions?
Are those meters that you talked about that we were behind on, are they billed to the developer?
It's all included when they get a new tap.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, thank you.
yep. So we bought the 107, and then we also put in later, we put in another. What's funny is we brought this back to you. I want to say a couple months ago, we told you that we had got a delivery. That was the second order. So we placed this one in July, we placed another one like in October, and we got those quicker. So I don't know how it got messed up, but these are from back in July. And so we've got a lot right now. We should have enough to take care of everything.
Anyone else? Oh, Chuck, I guess Chief owes you $15.
I know.
Isn't that how it works? All right. All right, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor of adjourning, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. See y'all in 14 minutes. Put pressure on him.